The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was the largest structure in the known universe. It floated in the empty space between three star systems. The building was made of crystal and metal that glowed with soft blue light. Inside, thousands of alien species gathered to discuss the future of the galaxy. Ambassador walked through the massive doors. She was a small woman with black hair tied behind her head. She wore a simple gray suit. Behind her walked Captain Sung-ho, a tall man with broad shoulders and calm eyes. He carried a metal case in his hands. The aliens in the hall turned to look at them. Some had 6 eyes. Others had tentacles instead of arms. A few floated in the air because they had no legs. They all stared at the 2 humans like they were looking at insects. "What is this?" asked High Counselor Vex. He was a tall creature with silver skin and 3 mouths. His voice echoed through the hall. "Why are there primitive beings in our sacred chamber?" Stopped in the center of the room, she looked up at the council members who sat on floating platforms high above her. There were 12 of them. Each one represented a powerful empire in the galaxy. "I am Ambassador," she said. Her voice was steady and clear. "I come from the planet Earth. We request membership in the Galactic Council." For a moment there was silence. Then the laughter began. It started with Counselor, a fat creature with purple skin and small wings. His body shook as he laughed. Then the others joined him. The sound filled the great hall like thunder. "Earth," said Counselor Myra. She was a being made of living light. Her form flickered as she spoke. "We have never heard of this planet." "It is in the outer arm of this galaxy," said another counselor. "A small rock near a young star, nothing important." High Counselor Vex raised one of his 4 hands. The laughter slowly stopped. "Little creature," he said too, "do you understand where you are? This is the Galactic Council. We control 10,000 star systems. We have existed for 50,000 years. Our technology can destroy planets and create new suns." Did not move. She did not look afraid. "I understand," she said. "Then you must also understand that membership requires certain things," Vex continued. "A species must prove they are strong. They must show they can survive in a dangerous universe. They must demonstrate that they are worthy." "We are worthy," said. More laughter filled the hall. "Your species is soft," said Counselor. "You have no natural weapons. No claws, no armor, no poison, you cannot even fly." "Your planet is classified as a Class 2 world," added Counselor Myra. "Mild climate, stable geology, safe environment. Your species has faced no real challenges." "Class 2, said. She turned to look at Sung-ho. The captain's face showed no emotion, but his eyes had a strange light in them. "They think Earth is Class 2. "Forgive them," Sung-ho said quietly. "They do not know." Turned back to the council. "High Counselor," she said, "I think there has been a mistake. May I present our planetary dossier?" Vex waved his hand. "If you wish to waste more of our time, go ahead, but it will not change anything. We have seen many young species try to join our council. They all fail." Sung-ho stepped forward. He opened the metal case and took out a small device. It was a data crystal that contained all the information about Earth and humanity. "This dossier was prepared by our scientists," said. "It contains complete information about our planet, our history, and our biology. We believe you will find it interesting." She placed the crystal on a platform in the center of the room. The platform glowed, and suddenly the information began to appear on screens all around the hall. The council members leaned forward to look. At first, they seemed bored. They had seen thousands of these presentations before. Every young species thought they were special. But then something changed. Counselor stopped laughing. His small eyes grew wide. Counselor Myra's light flickered faster, a sign of strong emotion. High Counselor Vex's 3 mouths all fell open at the same time. "This cannot be correct," Vex said. His voice was different now. The confidence was gone. "There must be an error in your data." There is no error, said. Everything in that dossier is true. But these numbers, Counselor Myra's voice trembled. Your planet's gravity is listed as 1.0 standard units. That is extremely high. Yes, said, we call it normal. And this, pointed at a screen with a shaking tentacle. Your star produces radiation at dangerous levels. How do you survive? We go outside anyway, said. Sometimes we do it for fun. We call it sunbathing. The hall had become very quiet. The thousands of aliens who had been laughing before were now silent. They watched the screens with growing horror. Your atmosphere contains oxygen, Vex said slowly. Oxygen is a corrosive gas. It destroys metal. It burns organic matter. How can you breathe it? Our bodies need it to live, Sung-Ho said. Without it, we die in minutes. Vex looked at the two humans standing in the center of his hall. For the first time in his long life, he felt something he had not felt in centuries. He felt afraid. Continue reading the dossier, said. She smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. You have only seen the first page. The council members looked at each other. They did not want to continue, but they had to know. They had to understand what kind of creatures had just walked into their sacred hall. Slowly, they turned back to the screens. The real horror was just beginning. Stood in the center of the great hall and watched. Behind her, Sung-Ho allowed himself a small smile. They had waited a long time for this moment. Humanity had spent years preparing to meet the galaxy. They had studied the alien empires. They had learned their languages. They had built ships that could cross the stars. And now, finally, the galaxy would learn about Earth. The Council had called humans primitive. They had called Earth a safe planet. They had laughed at the idea of humanity joining their ranks. They would not laugh for much longer. The screens in the great hall glowed with information. Every alien in the chamber had stopped moving. They stared at the data like it was a nightmare come to life. High Counselor Vex read the first section out loud. His voice shook as he spoke. Planet classification, he said. Previous rating Class 2, corrected rating Class 12. A wave of whispers moved through the hall. Class 12 was the highest danger rating possible. Only 3 planets in the entire galaxy had ever received that classification. All of them were empty. No life could exist on a Class 12 world. Or so they had believed. This must be wrong, said Counselor Myra. No intelligent species can evolve on a Class 12 planet. The conditions would kill them before they could develop. Keep reading, said. She stood with her hands behind her back, watching the council with calm eyes. Counselor moved to the next section. It was about Earth's geography. His purple face became pale as he read. Your planet has moving ground plates, he said. They shift and crash into each other. This causes the ground to shake violently. We call them earthquakes, Sung-Ho said. They happen often. Sometimes they destroy our cities. And you still live there? Asked. We rebuild, Sung-Ho said simply. The next image showed a massive wave of water. It was taller than a mountain, crashing onto a shore. What is this? Vex asked. A tsunami, explained. Sometimes the ocean rises up and covers the land. It kills thousands of people. How do you stop it? We cannot stop it, we run. Those who are too slow die. The council members looked at each other. In their civilizations, such disasters would cause entire species to leave their planets. But humans stayed. They rebuilt. They continued. A young counselor named Rim read the next section. She was from a peaceful species that lived on a planet with perfect weather. Her hands trembled as she held her data pad. Your planet has violent weather patterns, she said. There are storms that spin in circles and destroy everything in their path. Tornadoes, said, and hurricanes, they are common in some areas. Common? Rim's voice was high with fear. How can such destruction be common? We have seasons, Sung-Ho said. The weather changes throughout the year. Sometimes it tries to kill us. We have learned to predict when the killing seasons come. The next section was about Earth's temperature. The numbers made several counselors gasp out loud. Your planet's temperature ranges from -80 to +50 degrees, Vex read. That is a difference of 130 degrees. How can any life survive such extreme changes? We wear different clothes, said. In cold areas we cover our bodies. In hot areas we remove the coverings. That is all just clothes. Sometimes we also build fires to stay warm, or we create machines that make cold air when it is too hot. Counselor Myra's light form flickered rapidly. Your bodies can handle both extremes, without modification, without technology built into your cells. Our bodies adapt, said. It takes time, but we can live almost anywhere. The next section made the hall go completely silent. It was about Earth's ice ages. Your planet has experienced multiple global freezing events, read slowly. The ice covered most of your land. Temperatures dropped to deadly levels for thousands of years. Yes, said. Many times in our history, the planet tried to freeze us to death. But you survived. We survived. We learned to hunt large animals for food and warmth. We learned to make fire. We learned to work together. Sung-ho stepped forward. My ancestors lived through the last ice age. They had no advanced technology, no spaceships, no energy weapons. They had sharp rocks and animal skins, and they survived. The image on the screen changed to show Earth's volcanic activity, mountains spitting fire, rivers of liquid rock flowing across the land, clouds of ash blocking the sun. These volcanoes, Rim said, they produce poison gas and burning rock. They can destroy entire regions. One of them nearly killed all humans 70,000 years ago, said. Our population dropped to perhaps 10,000 individuals. We almost went extinct. But you did not. No, we did not. High Counselor Vex leaned back in his chair. He had lived for 3,000 years. He had seen empires rise and fall. He had watched species evolve and die, but he had never seen anything like this. Your planet actively tries to kill you, he said. The ground shakes, the water rises, the air becomes poison, the temperature tries to freeze you or burn you, and yet your species not only survived but became intelligent enough to reach the stars. We did more than survive, Sung-ho said. There was pride in his voice. We conquered. Conquered. Every challenge Earth gave us, we overcame. Every disaster we survived. Every enemy we defeated. The next section began to play. It was about Earth's predators. The council watched in horror as images of sharks appeared on the screens. Great white sharks with rows of sharp teeth. Then came lions and tigers, bears that stood twice the height of a human, wolves that hunted in packs. These creatures share your planet, Myra asked. Yes, along with millions of other species. And they are not the dominant species. Smiled, no, we are. But they have natural weapons, teeth, claws, speed, strength. You have none of these things. We have something better, said. We have our minds. We learn to make weapons. We learn to set traps. We learn to hunt the hunters. The image changed to show early humans hunting a mammoth. Tiny figures throwing spears at a creature 10 times their size. Your ancestors killed animals much larger than themselves, Vex said, with simple tools. We killed everything, Sung-ho said. Mammoths, giant sloths, saber-toothed cats. If it was dangerous, we hunted it. If it was useful, we tamed it. Tamed. The next image showed humans with dogs, horses, elephants. We took other predators and made them our friends, explained. Wolves became our hunting partners. Wild horses became our transportation. We did not just survive on Earth. We took control of it. Counselor had stopped reading. His tentacles hung limp at his sides. This is impossible, he whispered. No species should be able to do what you have done. Your planet should have killed you 1,000,000 times over. It tried, said. Every day Earth tries to kill us. Earthquakes, storms, volcanoes, diseases, predators, but we are still here. We will always be here. She looked up at the council with steady eyes. You called us primitive. You called our planet safe. You laughed at us. She paused. Would you like to hear about our diseases next, or perhaps our wars? The council said nothing. They were no longer laughing. They were beginning to understand. They had invited something dangerous into their hall, something that had been forged in fire and ice and blood, something that refused to die no matter what the universe threw at it. They had invited humanity. And humanity was just getting started. The Great Hall had changed. When had first entered, the aliens had looked at her with amusement. Now they looked at her with fear. Some had moved back from the center of the room, as if being close to a human was dangerous. They were right to be afraid. The next section of our dossier covers human biology, said. I think you will find it educational. High Counselor Vex did not want to continue. He had seen enough, but the other council members needed to know. The entire galaxy needed to know what kind of creatures lived on that small blue planet. Proceed, he said quietly. The screens changed. They showed the inside of a human body, bones, muscles, organs, blood. Counselor Rim studied the images. She was a scientist before she became a politician. Her species was known for their medical knowledge, but what she saw made no sense to her. Your skeletal structure, she said, it is remarkably dense, much denser than any species I have studied. We evolved under high gravity, Sung Ho explained. Our bones had to be strong to support our weight. And when these bones break, what happens? They heal. Rim blinked her 4 eyes. Heal? You mean doctors repair them with technology? No, our bodies repair them naturally. We set the bone in place, and over time it grows back together, sometimes even stronger than before. A murmur went through the council. Natural bone regeneration was rare in the galaxy. Most species needed extensive medical treatment to repair broken bones. Some never recovered from such injuries. What about other injuries? Rim asked. Our skin heals when it is cut, said. Our muscles repair themselves when damaged. Our organs can regenerate to some degree. We are very difficult to kill. The next image showed a human sweating. What is this liquid? Counselor Myra asked. Is the human sick? No, this is sweat. When our bodies become too hot, we release water through our skin. The water takes the heat away as it dries. You have built-in temperature control. Yes, we can run for hours in the heat without stopping. Most animals cannot do this. We used this ability to hunt. We would chase prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. Made a sound of disbelief. You hunted by running your prey to death. It is called persistence hunting, Sung Ho said. Humans are among the best endurance runners on Earth. We can run longer than almost any other animal. The screens showed the next set of data. It was about human diet. You are omnivores, Vex read. You eat both plants and animals. We eat almost anything, said. Meat, vegetables, fruits, grains, insects. Some humans even eat rocks. Rocks? Salt, it is a mineral. We need it to survive. Counselor Myra's light form pulsed. You eat minerals. Salt is essential for our bodies. Without it, we die. The next image made several counselors look away. It showed humans eating chili peppers. What are these red objects? Asked. Peppers. They contain a chemical that causes intense pain when consumed. The chemical attacks the pain receptors in our mouths. Why would anyone eat something that causes pain? Smiled because it tastes good. The hall fell silent. You eat pain? Vex asked slowly. Some humans enjoy the sensation. We call it spicy food. It is very popular. The next item was even more disturbing. The screen showed humans drinking coffee, alcohol, and eating chocolate. These substances are listed as toxins, Rim said. Caffeine, ethanol, theobromine, these are poisons. To many species, yes. To us, they are enjoyable. You consume poison for pleasure. Every day, coffee helps us stay awake. Alcohol helps us relax. Chocolate makes us happy. Looked like he might be sick. How can your bodies process these chemicals? Our livers, Sung Ho said. This organ filters toxins from our blood. It is remarkably efficient. Humans can consume many things that would kill other species. The next section was about Earth's atmosphere. The numbers appeared on screen, and several counselors gasped. Your atmosphere is 21% oxygen, Myra said. That is extremely high. Oxygen is a corrosive gas. It causes fires. It destroys organic matter. We breathe it constantly, said. Our cells need oxygen to produce energy. Without it, we die in minutes. But the fire risk. Yes, things burn very easily on Earth. We have learned to control fire. We use it for warmth, cooking, and light. The image changed to show humans gathered around a campfire. You sit next to open flames, Vex asked. Fire is one of humanity's oldest tools. We have used it for hundreds of thousands of years. It does not frighten you. Many things on Earth can kill us. We learn to use them instead of fear them. The next section covered Earth's radiation levels. The star that Earth orbited produced dangerous amounts of ultraviolet light. This radiation causes cell damage, Rim said. Prolonged exposure leads to burns and death. We call it sunlight, said. We need it to survive. It helps our bodies produce important nutrients. But the damage. Our skin darkens to protect us. It is called tanning. Different human populations have developed different levels of natural protection based on where they live. Pointed at the screen. It says here that some humans deliberately expose themselves to maximum sunlight for recreation. Sunbathing, Sung Ho said. It is considered relaxing. Relaxing. Exposing yourself to harmful radiation is relaxing. We also swim in the ocean for fun, and climb mountains, and jump out of flying vehicles with only fabric to slow our fall. The council stared at the two humans. You do these things voluntarily, Vex asked, not because you must survive, but because you enjoy it. Yes, said, we call them hobbies. The final section of this part of the dossier appeared. It was about human pets. The screen showed humans with dogs, cats, and other animals. You keep predators in your homes, Myra said, as companions. Dogs were once wolves, explained. We changed them over thousands of years. Now they are our friends, they protect us, we love them. And these, the image showed a cat. Cats, they are small predators. They kill other animals for us. We feed them and give them shelter in return. You have formed alliances with other predator species. Many species, dogs, cats, horses, falcons. We have worked with them for thousands of years. High Counselor Vex stood up from his chair. He walked to the edge of his platform and looked down at the two humans below. Let me understand, he said slowly. Your species evolved on a Class 12. You breathe corrosive gas. You consume poisons for pleasure. You heal from injuries that would kill other species. You expose yourselves to radiation for fun, and you have formed bonds with predators. That is correct, said. What else is in your dossier? Looked at him with calm eyes. Our history of warfare, our weapons, our diseases, would you like to continue? Vex looked at the other council members. They were all silent. They were all afraid. He turned back to the human ambassador. Yes, he said, we need to know everything. Nodded. Then I suggest you prepare yourselves. What comes next is much worse. The council members shifted in their seats. They had thought humans were weak. They had thought Earth was safe. They had laughed at the idea of humanity joining their ranks. They were not laughing anymore. And the worst was yet to come. The atmosphere in the Great Hall had become heavy. Fear hung in the air like smoke. The thousands of aliens who had gathered to watch the proceedings were completely silent. No one moved. No one spoke. They only watched and waited. Ambassador stood in the center of the room. She was still calm. She had not raised her voice once. She did not need to. The truth was terrifying enough. "The next section covers human warfare," she said. "Commander prepared this portion of the dossier personally." Sung-Ho operated the data crystal. New images appeared on the screens around the hall. The first showed two armies facing each other across a field, thousands of soldiers with spears and shields. "This is from our ancient history," explained. "Humans have been fighting wars for as long as we have existed." High Counselor Vex studied the image. "How long is that?" "Our species has existed for about 300,000 years. We have records of wars going back at least 10,000 years. 10,000 years of warfare. At minimum, the wars before that were simply not recorded." The image changed to show different weapons: stone axes, bronze swords, iron spears, crossbows. Each one was designed to kill other humans. "We developed new weapons constantly," Sung-Ho said. "Each generation found better ways to hurt each other, better ways to win." Counselor pointed at a screen showing a medieval battle. "These soldiers are wearing metal shells. They covered their entire bodies in armor." "Yes, and then other soldiers developed weapons that could pierce that armor. And then the first soldiers made better armor, and it continued like that forever." "An arms race," Vex said quietly. "You were constantly evolving your killing methods." "War was the greatest driver of human progress," said. "Our need to defeat our enemies pushed us to invent new technologies, better materials, better strategies, better ways to destroy." The screens changed again. Now they showed firearms, muskets, rifles, machine guns. The council watched as the weapons became more and more deadly. "What are these devices?" Counselor Myra asked. "Guns. They use explosive force to send small pieces of metal at very high speeds. The metal tears through flesh and bone." "How fast?" "Our modern rifles fire projectiles faster than sound. A human can be killed before they even hear the shot." The next images showed artillery, cannons firing, explosions destroying buildings, cities reduced to rubble. "We learned to fire these weapons across great distances," Sung-Ho said. "Soldiers could kill enemies they never saw. Armies could destroy entire cities from far away." Counselor Rim looked pale. Her species had never known war. They had evolved on a peaceful planet and had never faced serious conflict. What she was seeing made her physically sick. "How many of your own kind have humans killed?" she asked. Was silent for a moment. "We do not have exact numbers for all of history, but in the 20th century alone, about 100 million humans died in wars." The hall erupted in shocked voices. 100 million deaths, in a single century, killed by their own species. "Why?" Vex demanded. "Why would any species do this to itself?" "Many reasons: land, resources, religion, politics. Sometimes we fought because we believed different things. Sometimes we fought because we looked different from each other. Sometimes we fought because our leaders told us to." "And you continued, even after so much death." "We always continued. Humans do not give up. We do not surrender. We fight until we win or until we are all dead." The screens showed the trenches of the First World War, soldiers living in mud and filth, bodies piled in no man's land, gas clouds rolling across the battlefield. "This war lasted 4 years," said. 17 million people died. The survivors built monuments to remember the dead. Then they went back to their lives." "And then?" asked, though he was not sure he wanted to know. 20 years later, they did it again. The Second World War killed 70 to 85 million people. It was the deadliest conflict in human history. The images of the Second World War appeared. Tanks rolling across fields, planes dropping bombs, cities burning. The council watched in horrified silence. After that war, humans invented nuclear weapons, Sung-Ho said. The screens went dark for a moment. Then a new image appeared, a mushroom cloud rising into the sky. The explosion was enormous, stretching up into the atmosphere. "What is that?" Vex whispered. "A nuclear explosion. These weapons split atoms to release enormous amounts of energy. A single bomb can destroy an entire city." "One weapon, one city." "Yes, the first time we used these weapons, we killed over 200,000 people in seconds." The council could not speak. They stared at the mushroom cloud on the screen. "How many of these weapons do you have?" Myra finally asked. "At our peak, we had over 60,000 nuclear weapons. We still have thousands." "You have weapons that can destroy cities, and you built tens of thousands of them." "Yes, we aimed them at each other. For decades, human civilization existed with the knowledge that we could be destroyed at any moment." Made a sound like a whimper. "How did you survive? Why did you not use them all?" "We were afraid," said. "We knew that if we used them, our enemies would use theirs. Everyone would die, so we did not use them." "You achieved peace through fear of total destruction." "We called it mutual assured destruction. Both sides knew they would be annihilated if they attacked first, so neither side attacked." The screens changed to show human exploration. Mountains, ocean depths, space. "While we were building weapons, we were also exploring," Sung-Ho said. "Humans climbed the highest mountains on Earth. We dove to the deepest parts of the ocean. We sent people to the moon." "You reached space during your period of nuclear standoff?" Rim asked. "Yes, we were trying to kill each other and explore the universe at the same time. Competition drove us forward." The images showed space shuttles, space stations, rockets launching into the sky. "We did all of this without genetic modification," said. "Our bodies are the same as they were thousands of years ago. We are exactly as our planet made us." High Counselor Vex had not moved for several minutes. He sat in his chair like a statue. His silver skin had become dull with stress. "You are telling me," he said slowly, "that your species evolved on a Class 12, survived multiple extinction events, fought endless wars against itself, developed weapons capable of destroying civilizations, explored the most dangerous environments possible, and did all of this with no artificial enhancement." "That is correct. And now you have developed faster-than-light travel and come to us." "Yes." "Why? What do you want from the galaxy?" Looked up at the council. Her eyes were steady and calm. "We want to explore, to learn, to grow. We have conquered our world. Now we want to see what else exists. And if something threatens you, if someone attacks humanity." Smiled. It was not a threatening smile, but it was not friendly either. "Then we will do what we have always done. We will survive, we will adapt, and we will win." The fear in the hall had become something solid. Every alien could feel it. They had laughed at humans. They had called them primitive. They had thought Earth was a safe, boring planet with weak creatures. They had been wrong about everything. And now they had to decide what to do about it. The Great Hall was silent. High Counselor Vex looked at the other 11 council members. Each one wore an expression of deep concern. Some looked afraid, others looked thoughtful. A few looked like they wanted to run away and never return. "We must discuss this matter privately," Vex announced. "The council will take a short break." The 12 platforms floated toward each other and merged into one large platform at the top of the hall. A shield of energy surrounded them, blocking all sound and sight. The council was now hidden from view. Ambassador remained standing in the center of the room. Sung-Ho moved to stand beside her. "They are frightened," he said quietly. "They should be," replied. "We did not come here to make them comfortable. We came to show them the truth." Around them, the thousands of aliens watched and waited. Many of them were recording the event. The news of humanity's dossier would spread across the galaxy within hours. Every species would know what Earth had produced. "What do you think they will decide?" Sung-Ho asked. Looked up at the shielded platform. "They only have two choices, accept us or reject us. Both options are dangerous for them. If they reject us, then humanity knows the galaxy sees us as enemies. We will prepare for that. And if they accept us," smiled slightly, "then they must deal with humans as partners. They must share their knowledge and their space with a species that frightens them. Either way, the galaxy will never be the same." On the platform above, the council was in chaos. "We cannot accept them," Counselor said. His voice was high and panicked. "Did you see what they did to their own planet, what they did to each other? They are monsters." "They are survivors," Counselor Myra replied. Her light form pulsed steadily. "The most successful survivors we have ever encountered." "Exactly. They survived everything. What happens when they decide they want something we have?" "Then we negotiate," said Rem, "like civilized beings." "Negotiate," laughed bitterly. "With creatures who built thousands of nuclear weapons aimed at themselves, with beings who hunt predators for sport, how do you negotiate with something like that?" High Counselor Vex raised his hand. The arguing stopped. "Let us think clearly," he said. "We have two options. First, we reject their membership. We tell humanity they cannot join the council." "And then what?" Myra asked. "They go away, they forget about us." "No," Vex admitted. "They will not forget. They will remember that we rejected them, and humans seem to have very good memories for such things." "Their history of warfare proves that," Rim said. "They fought wars over events that happened centuries before. They do not forgive easily." "So rejection makes them our enemy," said. "What about acceptance? Is that better?" Vex was quiet for a moment. "If we accept them, humanity becomes part of the galactic community. They gain access to our technology, our trade routes, our knowledge." "They will advance quickly," Myra said. "They advanced from stone tools to nuclear weapons in less than 10,000 years. Give them our technology, and they will surpass us within a century." "Unless we control what they receive," another counselor suggested. "Did you not pay attention to the dossier?" demanded. "Humans do not accept control. They rebel, they fight. They find ways around every obstacle." The council fell silent again. Both options seemed terrible. Rim spoke softly. "There is another consideration. What if we are not the only ones who have noticed humanity?" The other counselors turned to look at her. "The outer regions have been unstable for centuries," she continued. "There are threats we have not been able to address. Pirates, warlords, species that do not respect our laws." "You want to use humans as weapons?" asked, horrified. "I want to use humans as allies. Think about it. A species that never surrenders, that adapts to any environment, that fights until it wins or dies. Would you want them as your enemy, or would you rather have them standing beside you?" High Counselor Vex stroked his chin thoughtfully. "You suggest we accept them not because we want to, but because the alternative is worse." "I suggest we accept them because they offer something valuable. They have survived challenges that would destroy any other species. They have overcome obstacles we cannot imagine, and they did it alone, on a planet that tried to kill them every day." "They are dangerous," insisted. "Yes," Rim agreed. "They are the most dangerous species we have ever encountered. That is exactly why we should want them on our side." The council debated for another hour. Arguments went back and forth. Fear battled with logic. Pride battled with practicality. In the end, the vote was unanimous. The energy shield dropped. The platforms separated and returned to their original positions. High Counselor Vex stood at the edge of his platform and looked down at the two humans below. "Ambassador," he said, his voice echoed through the hall, The Galactic Council has reached a decision. Looked up at him. Her face showed no emotion. Whatever the decision was, she was ready for it. After careful consideration, Vex continued, we have decided to accept Earth's request for membership. Humanity is now part of the Galactic Council. A wave of murmurs spread through the hall. Some aliens seemed relieved. Others seemed terrified. A few looked like they might faint. However, Vex added, we have conditions. Humanity will be assigned a mentor species to guide them through the transition. There will be limits on the technology you can access initially, and there will be regular reviews of your species' behavior. Nodded, we accept these conditions. We are here to cooperate, not to conquer. We shall see, Vex said quietly. The council session ended. The platforms lowered and the counselors began to leave. Most of them avoided walking near the humans. They kept their distance, as if Sung Ho might suddenly attack them. Counselor Rim was the exception. She walked directly to the two humans and bowed her head slightly. Welcome to the Galactic Council, she said. I look forward to learning more about your species. Thank you, replied. I hope we can be friends. Rim smiled. So do I, though I admit, the idea of being friends with humans is somewhat terrifying. We are not so bad once you get to know us. That is what I'm afraid of. Rim laughed softly and walked away. Soon the great hall was nearly empty. Only a few maintenance workers remained, cleaning and preparing for the next session, and Sung Ho walked toward the exit. We did it, Sung Ho said. There was quiet satisfaction in his voice. Humanity is part of the galactic community. This is only the beginning, replied. The real work starts now. We have to prove that we can be trusted, that we can contribute to the galaxy. And if they do not trust us? Stopped walking. She looked back at the empty hall, at the platforms where the council had debated humanity's fate. They accepted us out of fear, she said. They are afraid of what we might do if we are their enemy. In time, we will give them better reasons to accept us. We will show them that humans can be kind, that we can be generous, that we can be good. But they will always remember what we are capable of. Yes, they will always remember, started walking again. And that is not entirely a bad thing. Fear can become respect. Respect can become friendship. But it starts with them understanding what we are. They reached the doors of the great hall. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly in all directions. A human ship waited to take them home. By the way, Sung Ho said as they walked toward the ship, what are you going to tell them about our nuclear arsenals? Smiled. They did not ask about our current weapons. They only asked about our history. When they finally think to ask about what we have now, she paused. That will be an interesting conversation. Sung Ho grinned. They do not even know about our orbital defense platforms, or the asteroid mining operations, or the deep space probes. No, they looked at the past and assumed they understood us. They have no idea how far we have already come. The two humans boarded their ship. As it lifted off and accelerated toward the stars, Ambassador looked out the window at the Galactic Council station growing smaller behind them. Humanity had taken its first step into the larger universe. The galaxy had looked at them and felt fear, but knew something the aliens did not understand yet. Fear was temporary. Humans had been feared before, by animals, by each other, by nature itself, and in the end they had always found a way to turn that fear into something else. The galaxy would learn to live with humans. They would learn to work with them. And eventually, they might even learn to love them. But first, they would learn to respect them. That was how it always started. And humanity was very, very patient.